I'm so excited to welcome Russell Simmons, who epitomizes an architect of change, as Amy said, a conscious idealist who challenges what is, sees what's out there, thinks we can do better, and moves us forward. And he is a living example, really, of what that means, because he has brought about change in so many industries. And the thing that I most admire about him, I've known Russell for more than 20 years, and he had a very successful career, and he made a decision to change within himself. And I thought that that would be a really good place to start, because change always begins within ourselves, and it's always really, don't laugh. Why are you laughing?
This shit is so crazy to me, because Maria and I have been picking at each other for 25 years, and she's complimenting me like one after another. It's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I'm so tickled. I wish, could you Snapchat this shit? I can show her brother, show Bobby Shriver that she's being so nice to me.
I know. You're never going to get this again.
I know, so I'm reveling in it.
Yes, you can revel in it. But I think it's really true. I said that, you changed so dramatically. And you brought about the change. You decided to change yourself and change within yourself. And it happened by going to a yoga class, and then everything changed.
This is the shit her brother says. He did take me. Emma actually took us both. Emma Watts now was my intern. Now she's the champ. She's my boss at Fox Pictures. But Emma Watts took us to a yoga class, and that began my journey, because I came out, I was high as hell, I was so happy and high, and I didn't realize what it was, and I started to practice daily,
right.
as you know, and then from there, scripture, this idea of yogic science, I started studying it and meditating, and it all began there, and so that was and I was just talking about that whole challenge of, where we're going and the choices we make, and when you find a path, that makes you happy, you get on it, right? And the path towards this kind of bliss that everybody promises you, right? Enlightenment, they promise you this taqwa for Muslims, and samadhi for yogis, and Christ consciousness and nirvana. Those are just words. But you actually find out that when you take this task on, and you use these resources or these tools, that you actually are happier. You don't necessarily become enlightened. Like, I don't know anybody who's fully enlightened, I don't think. But they hide, they say. But anyway.
But I think what's interesting about
But this
Russell,
idea, you get happier through the path, so it's easy.
Right, but what's interesting is you were already really successful, and you were already kind of the epitome of happiness and success, and something was missing, and you changed your life.
Well, I would say that I was happy enough, and I say that you can promote greater happiness in yourself, as you the journey inside, or to learn to work with the what's inside you. I mean, I think that all the scripture is etched inside you. All these lessons that you end up learning on the outside are already etched inside you. The path, you learn what's right and wrong again, or you relearn, and a lot of the stuff is sitting inside you. You save yourself the trouble. So the idea of meditating, for instance, it's, this self-exploration process, it speeds up this evolution, so you don't have to struggle all the time, or, doing physical asana and, having your mind on an elevated idea when you're doing it, this is part of a practice, So there's these tools, and you gain faith that they work, and you do them. You like morning meditation better than you do late night drinking, for instance, because I was high as fuck all the way until, I was 30, and now I'm 80. But now I'm older. But
I said that Russell actually looks better now than when I met him. But what I think is so interesting about you, Russell, is that you were, a legend in your music and in being an entrepreneur, and everybody looked up to you, and you have your whole communication company is built on rushing, and everybody who's in this school really is rushing out into a society that demands 24/7. They want to make money, they got to keep going, they're all responding to texts all day long, and you're saying, whoa, slow down.
Well, yeah.
Meditate, be still.
Yeah, well, operating from a place of abundance or stillness or a happy place, money won't make you happy, as you know, or success won't make you happy, but happy will make you money. And if
Explain that, because most people think they'll be happy if they make money.
Right, well, they think they will be, but in the end, that won't really promote any kind of happiness. The happiness comes from the inside. It's attractive. Needing nothing does attract everything, it's true, but operating from a place of needing nothing, because they're never going to give you shit no matter what. I mean, I was just saying backstage, no matter how rich you are, you can only sit your ass in one seat at a time. And it's true that life's goal is that, to be comfortable in that seat. So that, when you know that and you operate from that place, and you can be, first of all, only in presence can you be awake and clear and focused. Never in the future, which you never can be transported to nowhere. You can't never get to the future, nor can you ever get to the past. You can only be here. The more you're here, the more focused you are in the present, the more you will do a good job, or you will execute on whatever the promise is, And that's what I always have to remind myself of. Let go of the neediness and wanting things to be different, because it's already pretty perfect. And I think that this is something we learn over lifetimes, or over, we speed up and learn more and more in this, now, So it's something that we're learning. We're evolving to be more present, to be more awake.
But what I think is really interesting about what Russell has written about in this best-selling book called Success Through Stillness, and the one that's on the bestseller list now, which is called The Happy Vegan, is it started by, once again, this is a man who was already really successful, right? So very few people, when they're really successful, say like, I'm going to try a different way. But you had a different vision for yourself. It started with yoga, then it moved to meditation, then it moved the foods you actually consumed, that it turned to veganism. And so how did that personal change affect your professional life and your political life?
Well, political, it's a result of, becoming more compassionate and awake about, your purpose, And as a celebrity, you learn is you have a big voice. You can say shit and it will travel. You can actually, affect change in ways that you can't otherwise. But either way, it's, your intention. But your intention, your voice gets loud. And, this goes back to the small thing. You get patted on the back. You say, all these thousands of people came home from jail because of some efforts we put together. Or whatever it is, whatever accomplishment you have, it's a reminder that you have to keep supporting, other people's well-being. And that comes from, I guess, being less fearful and more in tune with purpose. So that's how but all of it is affected deeply by your letting go of the fear and the neediness, and you're being more present. And so your efforts in every area become more fine-tuned as you become more awakened.
Have you become a different entrepreneur, a different kind of leader, because you embraced a different kind of life? You envision a different kind of workplace, a different kind of success?
I still do a lot of the same stuff. I do a lot of helping artists, a lot of empowering artists. I do a financial service business. I do fashion. I'm building a yoga studio. I have a bunch of different businesses and a bunch of philanthropic endeavors, 4 that I'm the chairman of, and many others that I support, and political. I've always, over the last 20 years, I've had these kind of things. I think I've changed. I work just as hard, but I will take my time. Like in the morning, I meditate no matter what. There's no reason not to meditate. They say if you don't take 20 minutes for yourself, we're going to meditate before we leave. Before we leave, I'm going to teach you if you don't know, and we're going to meditate. Only 5 minutes.
Because you say in this book that people who are incredibly busy, who are running big companies, who are running for office, are employing meditation. And you said that, people think like, wow, that's kind of weird. But you were saying that in 10 years, 15 years, it will be weird for political leaders, business leaders, entrepreneurs not to be meditating.
Well, that is the last motherfuckers doing anything. The political leaders. You mean like politicians?
Yeah, like politicians. You're hoping. There are some who do.
These are guys who carry the most weight in terms of ego, I guess. On average, right? Not everyone, but. So.
But it has changed the way you approach business.
Yes, it has changed it because I know that they can't really pay you. In the end, there's nothing they can give you. There's no payment that will promote happiness or make you more well off. Unless you need your health care and you're sick, then there's little things that are useful, but then if you keep thinking those things will make you happy, they will make you need health care. I think, I take my time. I meditate in the morning. I go to yoga every single morning, 8:30. Go to a hot vinyasa practice. Lately, I'm addicted to that cryotherapy I told you about. Go every fucking day. It's crazy. Have you done? You've done
No,
one.
I've done
You did
it
it, but
once.
to the neck,
Yeah.
not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah. Anybody done that shit? You done it? Isn't it great? Makes you high as hell, right? It's true, and it takes all the inflammation and cleans your liver, and so I do all that stuff. I do myself. I take care of the Mulandhara or the first chakra first.
You take care of yourself, how you eat, how you think, how you approach your life.
Yeah.
And that
I think that's how you serve. You can't be a good servant unless you take care of yourself. And an entrepreneur, what does he do? It fills a hole. He gives people stuff they need. An entrepreneur who's like a yogi entrepreneur, I like to say it, a yogi, he wants to make sure he gives people things he loves himself, he believes in. So I try to do that.
Many people who are in college and grad school struggle with and I think people in general say everybody tells us to come in, find our passion, find our purpose, and go out and do it. But what if you don't know? What if you don't?
That's a function of, there's so many, I don't care what it is, you can make it. Your dharma is whatever you choose in front of you. What people don't have is resilience. They say the Kriya Yoga path is hard work, dedication, faith, and resilience. Faith is critical. Everyone quits. Your path will take you and it will evolve maybe, but you never fail until you quit. People say, let me try that. Doesn't work out and they say, let me try something else. And they keep that up until one day life slipped away. And I think that you put your head down and you work until completion, and there'll be a lot of setbacks. And I think the more you have those experiences where there's that struggle, I have never had a success in less than 5 years. Everything's taken me way longer than it should have.
You've never had a success in less than 5 years?
Never. I mean, even to get a show on the air, it takes forever. It takes forever. Everything. My financial service company, no one ever heard of what we were doing. There's many competitors now, American Express and Chase Manhattan and others, but Walmart. But there was no such thing. There was no such thing. And for 5 years, I lost money with it, and I had to have faith in it because no one had ever heard of it. Similarly, when we did our urban, quote-unquote, fashion line, there's no such thing as a black designer. It's almost back that again, but there was none, and then there were 80, But when we started for 5 years, it was a very foreign idea.
And when you decided to go down those paths, what gave you the confidence to believe that you were in the right place for you?
It's something you learn after, you hopefully have this experience in your heart in the previous lifetime or in just the courage to continue. But having an experience or two where you stuck with an idea and it came out okay is helpful. I think it's helpful. Those are just worldly things, but again, you could walk in the library and the first day read and say, oh shit, I'm a doctor, right? I'm gonna study medicine. Because as a doctor, what do? You study medicine. Mm-hmm. You don't stop. Or I'm a lawyer, and that's the experience. You came up, you're successful. You read about a couple of cases, you started a process, you're a lawyer. Then you pass the ball later, but you're a lawyer. You're a basketball player when you pick the ball up. If you do it enough, you make the pros, but you're still rehearsing. You never stop going to practice. So just to put your head down and begin a practice of whatever it is, and then that becomes your dharma, and you stay focused, and you reaffirm it, and you stay on top of it. And then one day the fruit comes, but like Krishna says, you have control over the work only, but never its fruit. And that you should make the work the prayer. You should enjoy the work, because if you can do that, then you can attract the toys, that meaningless toys. That, of course, I say meaningless, right? But I got new shit at home, right? So I
so
get
you're calling
that.
yourself out.
Right, yeah. No, I'm, and this idea of letting go of it's not being attached to it as much, not needing it as much, needing less. Needing nothing is like enlightenment, right? That's Super Rich. The name of my book, Super Rich, is about needing nothing. The state of, But that is it's a goal. If you have a goal, they say the yogi should need nothing, right? So not even that. But needing nothing, you realize the less you need, the happier you are. And then needing nothing is pure bliss, right? But needing less and less, I don't need. That's a waste of time. Too many empty seats make you make you sick. Look around your house, big fucking house, all those empty seats, no one using them. You're not serving. It can make you sick, and you recognize it. As you know the path, and things become apparent to you, you kind of walk away from them. Kind of like a next subject, animals. 100 billion animals made to be born through factory practices, from rape to whatever else idea they can come up with, just to poison the planet and make its inhabitants sick and kill the inhabitants.
This is all in your book, how you saw film, and then you started changing your diet, which you also believe changes the planet.
Well, and I believe, you can't get a Republican now to take the lobbyist money and then actually look you in the face and say, we didn't do climate change. We're not promoting climate. Just the cows farting alone are twice the trains, planes, and automobiles put together. Just that alone, the gas from the cows. Twice all the trains, planes, automobiles, and boats put together.
But in both of these books, people say it's so hard to meditate, I can't find the time.
Oh, we're going to meditate. Everybody's going to learn to meditate.
But then everybody
tonight.
says vegan, it's impossible, it's for...
You're in L.A.
Right, no, but a lot of people...
You could be in the hood and go to the Chinese restaurant and have curry, tofu with onions and peppers and spinach and broccoli. Not Chinese broccoli either. Broccoli.
So
at the Chinese restaurant in the hood.
How is becoming a vegan
Taco Bell
good for the planet?
A vegan takes up the footprint of 400, an animal eater takes up the footprint of 400 vegans. The amount of water for your hamburger. That's why I'm building a yoga studio, because I want to talk about consciousness and really, because you have to know your footprint and kind of, be aware of it in order to, people know it and they block it out. It says, take a yoga shower. And I'm waiting for, and
a yoga shower?
Yeah, take a little, you have a hamburger and it's like 70 showers. That's what a hamburger is. So, we have to.
Wait a second, I'm not following. Why is a hamburger 70 showers?
It's like 600, 6,000 gallons? Look it up, please, Brother Hassan.
Okay, so
Brother Hassan.
So do you
Muhammad.
feel that by changing your diet, Russell, that you are in fact helping the planet? You're helping yourself physically, but you're kind of larger consciousness.
But Maria,
you're changing
it's
the
been,
planet.
there's all the studies. The science, is overwhelming. The animals are destroying the planet. The abuse of animals is not only killing us, but it's destroying the planet at a rate we don't know how fast. All we know is every year is the hottest year ever. That's all we know is every year. And we don't know how quickly. The next year might go up 2 degrees. And if that happens, oh shit, we're on a trajectory we don't even know how to stop. There's so many ways around it. And again, it's the worst karmic disaster in the history of the world. There's research now in the last 5 years about animals and their suffering. It's equal to humans.
What I like
So
also,
you got billions and billions of cows, and none of you can choke a chicken. Live in city, you can't do shit. You can't kill nothing, and you just eat it without thinking about your effect. The thousands of animals that die because you want to eat them. Thousands in a short time. I don't even in a lifetime. I forget what the gross number is. I find out the gross number of animals that we find. I keep going to Brother Hassan. Give me that gross number.
But I think, Russell, what you've been talking about is when you went also, and this is a transformation that's been going on for quite some time. So it started, as I said, by going to yoga.
That's your brother.
My brother.
Her brother says that everything I ever did was because of him.
Right, but that you started with that raised your consciousness to meditation, that led you further down that path, that then raised your consciousness to what you were eating and what effect what you were eating had on the planet.
If you want to practice, in yoga you have 8 parts. You have the asana, which you all know the physical part is the third of the 8 parts, but the first, the yamas, ahimsa, non-harming. There's no greater harm you can do to the planet or to yourself or to your neighbor than eat animals, than support animals, the abuse of animals. As I say, I have these leather shoes that you do the best you can. I have a lot of vegan shell toes, but these are leftovers, but I still got them. But the point I'm making is that, if you're contributing to that harm, then that's not dominion over the animals. Ever heard that? The Pope can talk about women can't go in the pulpit. He's not mad. He said, do whatever, but, really, God will get you later. And then, don't be gay. No, you know what? We're not going to judge you anymore. We changed our mind. God will get you later. But yet,
No, the Pope is not saying God will get you later.
He says that
no,
shit. Yes,
I'm
he
a
does.
Catholic. I'm a big
Yes,
admirer of Pope
yes, he
Francis.
does.
No,
Just
he's
fuck-
not.
yes, he does.
No, he's not.
He says,
no, he's
"Oh,
bringing
it's
it.
okay.
No, he's not.
God will get you later."
No, he's not.
That's
he's
his
not
rap.
saying God will get you
We're
later.
not here to judge.
I'm
God
a
will
Catholic
get you later.
girl. No. I would have thought you would really be in full of admiration for Pope Francis. He's really.
I think he's the best of the best of the best.
The best of the popes. The best of the popes.
I like
But
them all. Believe me, I'm
You
the
like
chairman
them
of
all.
the Foundation for Ethnic Understanding. I work with religious tolerance all over the world, and I promote mostly with Jews and Muslims, but the Catholics think they don't need fixing. But the Pope said, God will get you later.
No, he didn't
You're gay.
say that.
What did
Okay,
he say?
I'm going to go
What
off
did he
of the
say?
Pope. He never said God will get you later.
He
In
didn't
fact,
use
he's
those
talked a
words.
lot about climate change. He's talked a lot about our common
Did he
home.
tell you
He's
that
talked a lot about
dominion
being
over
of
the animals
service.
is crystal fucking clear?
No,
Dominion
I
over
don't
the
think
animals.
he ever said the F word, but I don't think. I'm sure that he didn't do that. We're going to get off the Pope because you brought up.
She gets very
ethnic
Catholic on me. Tell me,
understanding. I
Maria.
love the Pope. Anyway, but we could have this discussion and stay on the Pope, but I can meet you right there about the Pope. So,
I can say he's great.
yeah, you said that he said God will get you later.
Considering. But dominion over the animals
Okay.
should be easy to read. Should not be that we birth 100 billion animals into suffering. And, there is no humane way in this society to feed 1/100th of the people we feed with animal products. There's no reason that the American government should give $40 billion to underwrite the meat industry and 0.4% of that to the vegetable industry. And we should be at least conscious of it so we can just tell them, stop, that's my tax money.
Let's talk about
It's my tax money.
my tax money because
Poisoning
you are
you
very
and the
vocal
planet.
now politically. So when you talk about, so we've talked about Russell, how he changed kind of your personal model by adopting yoga, by adopting stillness, by adopting meditation,
get some of
by
this shit
changing the, what? I'm wrapping
But
this
you're
up
very
for you.
nice
Now
and-
I'm moving you into another area. This is what people that I know how to do this. So just stick with me here a second. I'm trying to help you. But I think, Russell is very vocal politically. And I was really struck by the letter that you wrote to Donald Trump. You wrote an open letter to Donald Trump, and you said, we've been friends for a long time.
Not
And
anymore.
okay, but you said in the letter, we've been friends for a long time. I don't recognize who you are, and I don't your language. I want to, because I'm interested in language.
Oh
You
my God, I
talked
never
about-
thought politically correct meant anything. I mean, I was an artist, and as a person who represented artists, I wanted everybody to express themselves and say what they were feeling, and it was great. And then I realized now, at the ripe old age of 58 years old, it came to me, oh, politically correct. If you're not, in other words, if you're not politically correct, everybody, every woman, every Jew, every Muslim, every gay, every black, every non-white male is fucking in trouble if we're not politically correct. We fought so you wouldn't say dumb shit like you say. We fought so that these things would not be the norm. They'd be unsayable.
What was the
And then,
reaction
and then
you
in
got to
effect-
that letter? Because what you said is that language, for those of us people who didn't read the letter, you said, you have worked hard to promote religious understanding, religious tolerance, and there's so many other people out there, and that his language was hurtful and his language was decisive, and you asked him to stop because language is important.
I never thought it was as much as when you're running for president and you say things that incite hate, it's scary. You see people, how they rally around. Sometimes people are hurt and they rally around and they find in their heart something that's been hidden and it's been woken up by him. He's already done his damage, a great part of it. Those people who...
What was the reaction to that letter?
Oh, it was a lot. I was surprised. It covered a newspaper in New York, and it traveled a lot of places. I didn't know it would travel at all. I just wrote it, and I thought maybe he'd read it. It'd be in the Huffington Post. That'd be it. Like the rest of the bullshit I write, no one reads it.
Did you hear from him?
Yeah, he called my office, and and I didn't speak to him. He just said something nasty to my sis. But he had already been upset because I said that I'd rather Kim Kardashian be president. And I meant celebrity-wise, she's the one who helped me with the Muslim thing. She's always tweeting things out, she and her family members, to help me with social and political things that are about tolerance or about whatever it is that we're talking about. So I thought maybe a more compassionate, sweet celebrity and not that celebrity. And I said it, I don't know why, I was doing a book interview and I said it. It's kind of and it traveled, and he called my office and said, wait, you'd rather Kim Kardashian be president? I said, well, I meant, I didn't think he was serious. I had a chance, and that America would buy into that shit, and they did. And now it's, and people are telling me, I was on a show yesterday, last night, and they were like, you don't understand, look how he got here, no one believed it. And he could say tomorrow, for instance, if people were not paying attention, well, if England was next door and they were sneaking in, I'd build a wall for them too, fuck them. And everybody would be like, right. Then would say, not me, they're not targeting me. Because the thing is, the white males feel he's not targeting me. The women are starting to feel like, oh shit, he's targeting me, right? And the Mexicans, he's targeting me, and Latinos in general, he's targeting me. Blacks like, oh shit, what he meant kind of was me. So he could fix it. He could easily fix it because people are forgiving, especially if been forgiving of him. He could just say stuff that sounded, you could digest it. He could run and be somehow competitive. He could bring out his, Ivanka, and I know all the family members, everybody, all the girls come out, wave on the podium. You never know. America could. So it's really scary.
Let's talk about this election. People have said we're here in California. Our primary is in June. A month ago, everybody in California felt it doesn't really matter. Now it actually seems like it could matter. And yet our voting numbers in this state are so low. People are so apathetic. People don't go out and vote. They don't care. They don't think it matters. These are a lot of young people who could maybe come up with an app or come up with an idea how to make voting more accessible, make it more interesting to people. You've gotten very politically involved. Why do you think it's important to vote, to write open letters, to be involved?
It's your purpose. People don't think they matter, and they do. And, it's your intention more than your work. I say, if you're a celebrity, you got a big mouth, you can move the meter. But that's just ego. It's your intention. It's for your path, for yourself, that you have a voice, and when you use it, it's empowering. More than, this idea of who's more valuable. What does God favor? The guy who wrote the $1 billion check to help people, or the person who is in the jungle administering the drugs? I think the one who's in the jungle administering the drugs, provided his intention is pure because his efforts are obvious, kills the guy who wrote the check. But everybody applauds the guy who wrote the check. So it's ego, as a celebrity, but you do know whatever you're able to do, you should do. So when they bomb innocent people, or they incarcerate innocent, diseased people and destroy communities, or they, whatever the different things that these politicians do, and you didn't vote against it, then it's your karma too. If you're quiet when people are being abused, or if you don't speak up in favor of helping people who need help, then you are part guilty as much as you think, I didn't get involved. So I think it's part of your spiritual evolution, your personal path, to value your efforts, and your purpose, which is, you're a member of the society. You should vote. You have to vote.
That's one of the things we're doing here tonight, is registering people to vote. We're also in the marketplace outside, giving people opportunities to learn about meditation, to sign up for meditation, all of the things in addition to Russell's book. So everything that he's actually talking about, we're trying to make real by voting, by learning about meditation, by learning about the food we eat, how it affects the planet, how it affects us. I want to ask you, you've accomplished so many different things. You've brought artists to light that no one would have ever heard of, from, it's everybody's a household name, to your clothing company, to being an entrepreneur. What is the thing that you feel you're most proud of, that has been your biggest contribution, your purpose?
I tried to work too heavy on the pride thing, but accomplishments I'd like to mirror or do more of, that things that I really feel are meaningful. Changing the Rockefeller drug law and walking the street and people saying, I'm home from jail because of you. That really meant something. And changing recently, I wrote the letter that a lot of celebrities and, activists and drug policy alliance, the White House received the letter. It was big news. Justin Bieber's tweet pushed it over the edge. Justin Bieber's tweet made the Attorney General call me within a couple hours. The letter was 4 days old. It had been in the news. It was over. But he's like, they were thinking about it, obviously, and it's going pop now. 40 million people, let me call and say, we're going to do this, which is
so that's where pop meets politics.
Yeah, charge first-time offenders differently, federal government. Big deal. But so those things like that really affect a large number of people that kind of pull them out of suffering or out of a bad condition. Those things matter a lot, to me. I think that's the kind of stuff that I value when I look back. I want to do more. Obviously I'm not ready to check out, so I want to do more stuff. Yeah.
Well, I think one of his greatest accomplishments, I might say, are the 2 daughters he has, and the relationship you have with your ex-wife, Kimora, who he is constantly giving credit to as a mother, as a partner, and that to me, when I look at you and think about you, that to me is the thing that I really respect.
Jesus Christ, are you getting this shit?
I just want to say before we meditate, what an inspiration really Russell is. I said to Russell, if I told you 20 years ago, 15 years ago that you'd be writing these books and you would be using your voice in that way, he said, as an expletive, a word I can't repeat, but he goes, no way, I would never have believed you. But I think this is what's really this conversation series is about, is to ignite change in all of us, mental change, emotional change, spiritual change, and that we can all do this. And by being an architect, we talk about tearing things down and rebuilding them. And it starts with us. And he's a really living example of tearing down old beliefs, changing from the inside out, and then putting all this inspiration, these ideas, his imagination, and making it happen, and finding his purpose and finding a whole new life so that everybody who comes and listens to you, actually most of the people already meditate, and they're interested in food, and they're interested in a new consciousness. This isn't normally your audience, and you've created this out of a new mission, as he said, a new sense of purpose, and you started by creating really the future you want to be. So I just want to give you that. I'm not going to say anything nice about you again for another 20 years.
I was going to just say something so nice about you, how much I've admired you for all the years I talked shit about you the entire time.
I know.
I have loved you. Like, she's like my sister, and I never would say nothing nice to her, but I loved you from the beginning, and you're fantastic.
But you talk shit about me.
But as soon as I get off the stage.
Okay. Okay.